Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to this continuing saga of coronavirus and Shabbat at home. Our numbers are growing, and we look forward to sharing Shabbat with each and every one of you. Hine ma tovu manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Bless His house with love. Amen, amen. May God bless His house. Amen. And as we begin this Shabbat, reach out to those sitting with you, or if you're sitting alone, reach out in your heart to those that matter to you, those who you love, and offer a blessing to yourself, and then offer a blessing to them. And this time we offer a special blessing from each of us to those impacted directly by the health challenges of the coronavirus. And we hope that our joint blessings will rise and help those in need. Amen. Amen. May God bless His house with love. Okay, and now we move on to the candle blessings. As we go over here and we remember that, I don't want to take the guitar off, so I'll reach over. We remember that the two candles remind us of the opening verse of Lecha Dodi, which is Shamor, which is to guard, and that if we guard the Shabbat, we will Zachor, we will remember the Shabbat. And having done that, we do the blessing together. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat. Wonderful. I thought I heard you all repeating the blessing with me, which is wonderful. During this time, when services are a little bit shorter and perhaps we're reading a little slower, take time to look at the blessings that we're doing, and if there's one that you always were missing a few words on, now would be a perfect time, while nobody's around, to review the blessings while doing them. In fact, by doing that, God hears your prayer even more strongly, because God recognizes the focus and energy that you are putting into the blessing, as opposed to just spouting it off without really thinking it through while you're doing it. Take a look at this first verse, the first two words. And if you can't read the Hebrew, Shamor B'Zachor, look at the bottom where it says keep and remember. That connects us back to the candles, to the light of Shabbat. Shamor B'Zachor, B'Dibor Echad, Yishmi'anu Adonai Echad, Yishmo Echad, V'Shemo Tiferet V'Yifira, L'Chadoni L'Chad Kala, V'Zei Shabbat V'Kabela, L'Chad Shabbat L'Kuren Elcha, Ki Mikor HaBracha, V'Rosh Mikedem V'Simcha, Tov Ma'aseh B'Machas Shabbat V'Kira, L'Chadoni L'Chad Kala, V'Zei Shabbat open the door for the Shabbat bride, to allow the Shabbat bride to join with us to our wedding day, Shabbat. Govi v'shalom aseret hara, gam b'simcha v'torah, tochen u'mei am segulah, oikara b'rikara. Enter in peace, O crown of your husband. Enter in gladness, enter in joy. Come to the people that keeps its faith. Enter, O bride, enter, O remember, now that we have begun, and now that we have welcomed the Shabbat bride to join with us, we chant the Chatzi Kaddish, dividing that opening invitation in the body of the service, which starts immediately after Chatzi Kaddish with the Baruch Hu, the call to worship. Yitgadal v'yitgadash Shemei Rabbah, Adirachnuté, Yamlet Malchuté, B'chayechon, Uvyomechon, B'chayei, B'chol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala, Ba'agala, Uvizman Karib, Be'emiru, Amen, Teheshmei Rabban Varav, Olam Ulam Me'omaya, Yitbarach, Yishtabach, Yitba'al, Yitramam, Yitnaseh, V'yitadar, V'yitalev, V'yitalal, Shemei Dekudesha, B'richu. Le'ela Mikol Birchata B'shirata, Tush Birchata Z'nechemata, Amiran B'alma, V'yemiru, Amen. And then we come to the Baruch Hu, the call to worship. Baruch Hu et Adonai slowly so you can all read along and fill in a word if there is a word here or there. That is as deep a prayer as one can hope to find to perfect a prayer that one hasn't focused on deeply or as deeply as we can now. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech ha'olam, Asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, b'chochma poteach she'arim, uvitbuna mishane itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umsader et hakochavim, b'mishmerotehem barakia kirtzono. Borei yom v'layla, Golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or, uma'avir yom umevi laila, umavdil bein yom uvein laila, Adonai tzvaot shemo, el chai v'kayam, tamid yemloch aleinu le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on the evening. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha v'hayu advarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavcha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta ba'am v'shivtecha b'beitecha uv'lechtecha derech uv'shachtecha uv'kumecha uv'shartam le'ot al yedecha v'hayu letotafot bein einecha uv'tavtam al mezuzot beitecha uv'isharecha lema'an tizkiru va'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'hitem kedoshim le'Elohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim lehiot lachem le'Elohim ani Adonai Elohechem. Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. Yabba bim bim bam, yabba ba bim bam, yabba bim bim bam, yabba ba bim bam, ay 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 ay, yabba ba bim bam, ay 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 ay, yabba ba bim bam. Mi chamocha ma'eli Adonai, mi chamocha ve'edan ha'kodesh, no radilot osefele, no radilot osefele. Ba'alchut b'chala u'banecha, ukeyayam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam, ve'eli ze'eli anu le'amru, Adonai imloch le'olam. Kifada Adonai et Yaakov, ukalo miyad chazak mimenu. Baruch atah Adonai Ga'al Yisrael. with Hatfilah. As we've said in the past several weeks, the central part, the hub of our entire service are these blessings, the Shemona Esrei, the 18 paragraphs that discuss God in all iterations, in all powers, and all strengths. And it starts with a prayer asking God to open my lips, to give me the strength that my mouth may do nothing other than utter your praise. Adonai simpetai tiftach ufi agiti latecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu v'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, V'konei hakol, v'zocher chasdei avot v'imahot, u'mevi geula livnei b'neihem, l'ma'an shemo be'ahava, melech ozer u'moshia u'magen, baruch atah Adonai, magen Abraham ve'ezrat Sarah. Atagi bole olam Adonai, mechaye hakol atarad lohoshia, mechalkel chayim b'chesed, mechaye hakol b'rachamim rabim, zomech noflim b'rofei cholim, u'matir asurim, u'mekayem emunato, Li shenei avar, micha mocha ba'al gevurot, umido melach, melech memid umechayeh, umatzmiach Yeshua, v'ne'eman atala hachayot hakol, baruch atah Adonai, mechayeh Hakol. Ata kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, ukdoshim b'chol yom yahalelucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh. We continue silently. And now we take a moment for our Mishaberach prayer, reaching out through prayer and thought to those in need of healing, be it physical, spiritual, or emotional. And while we do not read the list right now, those in need are in our hearts. And trust me that if you read a name or speak a name out loud, it is heard. It is heard.
Bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing. Let us say Amen. Those in need of healing, with Ruach Shalema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Ken Yehi Ratzon. May this be God's prayer, and may God answer these prayers. We take a moment now, as I put down the guitar and grab a couple of things that I might need. We just take a moment to take a brief look at this week's Torah portion, Shemini. And all of a sudden we've come to a prohibition on what can be eaten. It comes sort of out of no place, but here it is. And we learn a couple of things from this. Truths that we have always believed. My mother of blessed memory used to say, "Be careful, you are what you eat." Well, I just thought it was her trying to keep me away from Twinkies. But in fact, it's not. In the Torah, it really teaches if you eat of unclean animals that you yourself would become unclean. And the Mosaic concept of kosher and non-kosher, the Mosaic law, which is really the basis on which kashrus is defined, really comes from here. The idea was if you eat an unclean animal, part of that uncleanliness will stick to your insides, emotionally as well as physically. You will internalize the trait of what you eat. So if you eat of a predatory animal, you will become an emotional predator, and as well. And so it's a fascinating idea. And if we carry that on, what do we learn about this? Not just about what we eat, but what we internalize. Who do we become? What do we accept as our truths, as our facts? And I'm not talking about the politics of right now, right at this moment in our history, but throughout our lives. We internalize what defines in the end who we are. And so be very careful with whether it's food or thoughts or emotional context or truths that we make truthful because it fits a narrative we want. We live by those choices. We are defined by those choices. And so I beg you, choose carefully. How do we start to work around that? I've been doing a lot of reading. I'm not sure what you folks are all doing at home, but I can tell you I am doing a remarkable amount of reading because I have not much else to do. I'm trying to study Zoom and some other things, but I'm just doing a lot of reading. And part of what I'm reading is bringing me to a new place in my life. And I've always thought about doing it, but now I'm really going to make a commitment. And I've talked about it on the High Holy Days, but it is time for us all to do it now even more so. A mitzvah a day. Do something. I received a phone call last night from a woman I haven't spoken to in 3 years, maybe 4. I said, "Why are you calling me?" And she said, "Because I have a list of people who have mattered in my life, who I've lost contact with. And while I'm home now, I want to reach out to those people. I want to reconnect with some. I want to just talk to some. I want to do a mitzvah a day. I want to reach out to people that have mattered in my life, and maybe they'll matter again. Maybe they will become important parts of my journey again, but at least I can reach out and say, you were a piece of my puzzle." And so I felt terrific. And I realized that she had performed a mitzvah, because all of us are sitting at home wondering and reflecting and reviewing and renewing and rethinking the same old stuff. But in her phone call, she created something new for me. It wasn't just thinking back about what had been. She was a dear friend at one point in my life. Those are people I call transitional people. They come into our lives for a brief period, and they become very important. And then our lives now, life's journey moves forward. And they move on in their journey. And the paths have crossed, but they don't stay parallel forever. It was wonderful to hear from her. And it made a difference in my day. And it put joy in my step this morning when I woke up and thought how nice it was. And all she did was make a phone call, a text message, So I suggest make that the beginning of your mitzvah a day. Reach out to somebody you've just lost touch with. Nothing angry, just moved on. You moved away from that town and so you've lost touch. And so, recognize that this week's Torah portion teaches us we live by our choices, and a mitzvah a day, even a small one done with correct intent, is what God looks for and what God expects. So, be more like God. Fulfill God's expectations of us and for us. That's why God allowed Alexander Graham Bell to exist, was to create new visions of connection. Use them. When this service is over, not before, but when this service is over, pick up the phone and call somebody that you haven't talked to in a while. It'll be good and it feels good. Also, keep in mind that this weekend is Holocaust Remembrance. And while we do remember it every day, I hope that you participated with us in yesterday's Yizkor service. If you did not, you can find it online, and there will be directions coming as to how to do that. But if you just go onto our Facebook page, I believe that you can find it there. But there will be emails coming out offering you a number of invitations to different events. And although I wasn't going to make the announcement, I will, that if you have been missing Torah study with Larry Giltman and me sticking my 2 cents worth in, I have excellent news for you. Tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, if you sign on, and we will be sending out an invite to everybody, we will be reconstituting Torah study with Dr. Giltman, with additional color commentary on occasion by Rabbi Bruce. There are other programs that are coming. We have not been sitting idly by, but trying to learn the system so that we can bring more to you. And there will be several other things that will be announced early next week. So watch your emails for invitations. And please, all you have to do is click on the blue invite. You do not have to be a member of Zoom to come into these things. You just have to click on the blue invite, and we will be sending instructions on how to do that as well. In the meantime, we always remember the Holocaust and what it meant. And I do believe at this point that a mitzvah a day, exactly what we just talked about, is what will help us stay together, to always remember and to guard the memories of those lost. Remember, on the Chadodi we said, Shamor v'zachor. Shamor, guard v'zachor, and remember. If you guard the Shabbat, you will remember it, and if you remember it, you will guard it. Do it. It is important. And now, I just put the guitar back on, and we can continue with the Aleinu. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon ha'kol, l'teit gedula liotzer bereshit, shelo asanu kegoyei ha'aratzot, v'lo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, igor aleinu kecho hamonam. Va'anachnu korim, umishtachavim umodim, lifnei melech malchei hamlachim,
HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shehu noteh shamayim v'yosed haaretz u'moshav yikaro b'shamayim mima'al u'shchinatu zo b'gavei miromim hu Eloheinu ein od emet malkeinu epesulato kakatuv b'torato B'yadata yom b'hashevota el levavecha ki Adonai hu ha'Elohim b'shamayim mima'al ve'aretz mitachat ein od V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad u'shemo echad. As we move towards the recitation of Kaddish, it is my sad responsibility to announce the passing during this past week of our fellow congregant, Len Heller. May his name be for a blessing. We send our deepest condolences to his family and to Helen, his wife. We now take a moment to remember those whose yahrzeits occur at this time, in this year, as we remember those who passed and their yahrzeits occur this week. Yet Gadal v'yet Kadash Shmei Rabbah v'alma divrach chilutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chaye chonu v'yomei chonu v'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael v'agala u'bizman kariv v'miru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevarach la'olam u'al me'al maya yet barach v'yishtabach yet ba'ar v'yet ramam v'yet naseh Yet adar v'yet alev yet halal shemei dekutsha barichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran ba'olma v'imru amen Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen Oseh shalom v'imramav u'ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israel, to which we say, Amen. Bless our lives, our children and our families. Bless all of those who have lost their way. all who seek a world of beauty. Give blessings, God, to all these today. Amen. Amen. May God bless this house with love. Amen. Amen. May God bless this house. May God bless this house. Amen. And now, just before we conclude, we go over here and we go, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri hagafen. Amen. And one more little thing that we do. Pesach is now over, and now, voila, real challah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. May we go forward on this Shabbat knowing that we are what we choose to be. Choose wisely. Shabbat Shalom.